Tonight, another hospital put on the list. Nurses vote to graylist Thompson General Hospital, why it may soon be joined by others. Also tonight.
Yesterday, we saw them continue to perpetuate harms and division.
Wab Kinew calls the opposition leader a bigot. Why Abi Khan says it was the premier who's out of order. Plus,
that's going to do damage if you were to hit somebody with it.
Banning weapons in public. How another province has put the Manitoba government's promise into action.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
A second Manitoba hospital has been declared unsafe for nurses. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, the Manitoba Nurses Union voted to graylist the biggest hospital in northern Manitoba. The union says the nurses are tired of waiting for something to be done while they're being put at risk. Standing by live with the details is CTV's Harrison Shin. So Harrison, what was the final vote?
Merely 97% of the nurses at Thompson General Hospital voted to graylist the facility after a shooting and a stabbing over the last year. First, it was Health Science Center in Winnipeg. Now, Thompson General Hospital. And that might not be the end of nurses graylisting hospitals.
We have to be very vigilant. We know there's things happening in facilities, and I think we have to be very vigilant that those that individuals are safe when they are in those facilities.
President of the MNU, Darlene Jackson, says the staff at Thompson General Hospital have been raising safety concerns since a shooting in its chapel on Christmas Eve of 2024. Putting additional safety officers in place was brought up back then. The province announced this week that 8 are slated for Thompson, but Jackson says the nurses are done.
They've been promised, but where are they? And I just think that, like, nurses are tired of waiting. They're tired of being put at risk. Their patients have been put at risk, and visitors have been put at risk.
Working conditions at Manitoba's hospitals have been under fire lately. In July, police alleged 4 women were sexually assaulted near HSC. About a month later, police investigated another sexual assault across from the ER. On November 8th, another sexual assault was reported at St. Boniface Hospital Parkade. This time, an employee. Jackson said it was a nurse, becoming the 6th victim within 5 months. Laurelyn Greg Haynes visited family at the hospital Friday, and she said,
I think once incidences like these no longer make the news, we'll know that the province is doing enough.
2 Winnipeg police officers have been stationed at HSC in November, and for some visitors, it appears to be working.
The feeling when you see the police officers, I think it brings about a feeling of maybe more confidence and a safer place.
In a media release, the union says Mounties were called to Thompson General Hospital over 550 times in response to violence.
Harrison, what is the health minister saying about this?
In a statement, Minister Uzoma Azaguara reiterated 8 security officer positions were posted this week for Thompson. They said they will be continuing staffing and safety improvements.
All right, thanks for this, Harrison. An inquest into the death of an inmate at Headingley Correctional Center is moving forward. 45-year-old William Amo died in February of 2021, 7 days after a chaotic confrontation during which he was put into a restraint chair and ultimately suffered cardiac arrest. His death was ruled a homicide, and 1 corrections officer went on trial charged with criminal negligence causing death and failing to provide the necessities of life. He was found not guilty in September of 2024. An inquest was called in July of this year, 9 months after the criminal case appeal window closed. Before it can begin, however, a judge will determine who can take part in the process. That hearing will be held on December 23rd. The leader of Manitoba's official opposition has come under fire after an incident in the Legislative Assembly on the Transgender Day of Remembrance. Joining me now live to explain is CTV's Taylor Brock. So Taylor, what happened?
Well, Marilee, the NDP government says yesterday during a recognition of Transgender Day of Remembrance, PC leader Abi Khan and members of his party didn't stand up, and that prompted some strong words from the premier today in the legislature.
Let this remain on the record. He's not a leader, he's a bigot.
Those comments come one day after Kirkfield Park MLA Logan Oxenham, Manitoba's first openly trans legislature, called on the parties to condemn Alberta's use of the notwithstanding clause around gender-affirming care for trans youth. While the legislative broadcast shows many PC members applauding, most party members, including Khan, remain seated. The NDP government called that unacceptable.
Yesterday, we saw them continue to perpetuate harms and division in our communities and against specifically the trans and two-spirit community. So that was an unfortunate display of hate and division by the PC leader.
Khan responded to the criticism today, saying Oxenham's statement was politically charged.
This statement was not solely about Trans Remembrance Day. If it was about just Trans Remembrance Day, if it was about the lives lost and the suffering from the trans and marginalized community, I would have 100% stood up for that. But it wasn't. It was not. It was politically charged and motivated.
Khan added his party didn't realize members of the transgender community were in the gallery until after the statement was delivered.
Taylor, what about the Premier's comment calling Khan a bigot? Did he have any response to that?
He did, Marilee. Khan accused Canoe of using bullying language and says he was concerned there wasn't a point of order brought forward in the House.
All right, thanks for this, Taylor. Manitoba could be looking next door for a plan to crack down on street weapons. This week, Manitoba's throne speech had a promise to ban machetes and other dangerous weapons in parks and on buses. And as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, Saskatchewan has a similar law already in force.
This makeshift device has a handle on one end and what appears to be a cue ball on the other.
I would imagine it's a homemade sort of instrument that they were going to use at some point to do something with. I don't know.
It's one of the many dangerous items the Bear Clan Patrol finds on the streets. Kevin Walker says they come across several edged weapons, from knives to machetes, that pose risks in public places.
It's getting worse, yeah. It's not getting any better. We're finding more of everything.
The province has already brought in rules to regulate the sale of long-bladed weapons like machetes. Now, in this week's throne speech, Premier Wab Canoe says his government will bring in a new law to ban these types of street weapons from public places like parks and transit buses.
You shouldn't be able to have these things in a public place like a park. So just making that another tool for law enforcement to be able to use.
Saskatchewan has a similar law already in place. As of last summer, police in that province have the power to seize weapons like machetes, knives, hatchets, bear sprays, and needles.
The police now have the ability to deal with that threat before a victim is ever created.
But because some of those items could have legitimate uses in rural and remote areas, municipalities and First Nations in Saskatchewan have to opt into the plan if they so choose. Back in Manitoba, Winnipeg's mayor has already signaled support for a ban here.
If it requires us to, bring in some changes to rules, I'm sure that as a council we'll look at that. This is about public safety.
Kevin Walker says taking these off the streets is great, but he says the people wielding them need to be removed too.
If you take the weapons off and people are just coming back out reoffending with them, it's kind of a moot point, right?
Jeff Keel, CTV News Winnipeg.
The Saskatchewan government says Saskatoon, Regina, Yorkton, Estevan, and Moose Jaw are among the cities who've chosen to sign on to the new rules. Let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. The weekend is here. How's it shaping up, Colleen?
Well, if you've enjoyed these mild temperatures in Marilee, I know you have. So have I. Get set, folks. Temperatures are set to soar this weekend here in southern Manitoba. It's what comes next that you will be wanting to pay attention to just as much. I'll show you why coming up. But for now, let's take a look through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now on this Friday evening, it is -1, partly cloudy. Winds southeast 18 kilometers an hour, just enough to give us a wind chill. Yeah, a wind chill that feels like -6. The pressure is dropping and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 79%.
Thanks, Colleen. Another piece of history is now gone from Winnipeg's Main Street. The former Bell Block is a pile of rubble as of this week. The 124-year-old building sat empty for years and was destroyed in a March 2023 fire. Now, local historians are lamenting the loss and are concerned about the future of the many empty lots nearby. CTV's Joseph Bernacki explains.
is almost unrecognizable at this point.
Kenneth Ingram, president of Seven Oaks Historical Society, says parts of Main Street have changed beyond recognition. He was sad to see the wrecking ball hit Bell Block at 813 Main on Wednesday. His group preserves history in the city's northwest neighborhoods. He says watching a 124-year-old building go is a tough pill to swallow for the area.
And that's the unfortunate part, is because every time one of these buildings comes down, we lose a little bit of that history.
Ingram's group has saved these archival photos of Main Street, including the Bell Block. While it was once an apartment block and commercial building, in 2023, an arsonist's flames destroyed it. Ingram says the Bell Block was once full of life, home to a bakery, music store, and later a furniture shop.
This is an example of one of those modest early Main Street blocks, the pre-World War I blocks that really used to line this whole area of Main Street. It really tells the story of this part of the North End in Point Douglas.
Cindy Tugwell, executive director of Heritage Winnipeg, says Point Douglas is still feeling the brunt of burnt-out vacant buildings. In January, the nearby Sutherland Hotel caught fire, and now this pile of rubble stands in its place. She says there is a real concern for the future of what Main Street may look like.
We need to start looking at how to build supportive housing and start getting some real action and people on the streets, because businesses just cannot survive on this part of Main Street anymore.
Tugwell says developers should step up to preserve Main Street and not let it end up like the Bell Block.
What I'd like to see is people bring it back and take it seriously and not just look at new builds in other parts of the city.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A Manitoba man slowly losing the ability to move his muscles has just days of treatment left before the drug company ends his free coverage. And tonight, the Manitoba PCs want the province to foot the bill for the pricey medication.
Step up to the plate and fund Jeremy's treatment. His life and quality of life literally hang in the balance.
The province says it persuaded the drug manufacturer to extend free coverage to Jeremy Bray in May on compassionate grounds. But now the treatment is being withdrawn and is expected to cost more than $300,000 annually. The province says it's following Canadian Drug Agency guidelines, which doesn't recommend the drug for Jeremy's age group due to a lack of clinical tests.
We asked Roche Canada to continue providing compassionate coverage for Jeremy. We made very clear that Jeremy's reporting benefits from that medication.
Health Minister Yusoma Asagara is calling for the drug manufacturer to work with the CDA on expedited clinical trials. The hope is this will result in new guidelines from the drug agency. We have an update for you now on a story we brought you yesterday. Despite the pleas of residents, it appears a large housing development will go ahead in Charleswood. A 6-story, 132-unit housing development is planned for Roblin Boulevard. It would be a 55-plus building owned by the neighboring Charleswood United Church. However, residents told a city committee hearing Thursday they feared flooding, increased traffic, and a loss of privacy on their properties if the development was given the go-ahead. Councillor Evan Duncan says he understands concerns about how this will change the neighborhood. However,
at the same time, we're also facing a very real and pressing challenge in Charleswood, a lack of appropriate housing for older adults. Time and time again, I hear from long-time residents who frankly either want to stay in the community or come back to the community that they built.
Councillor Duncan and Janice Lukes voted in favor of the application. Fellow community member Sean Dobson voted against it. The plan now moves to the next stage at City Council. The federal government is giving 2 Manitoba companies a multi-million-dollar loan to improve access to health care.
Manitoba-made innovations travel far beyond our borders to communities across Canada and around the world. It takes courage, vision, and the right support at the right time.
Which is why MP Doug Olofsson says the local companies will get $2.9 million in what the federal government is calling a repayable investment. Move Mobility, a specialized medical vehicle manufacturer, is getting $1.1 million to increase manufacturing capacity, which will include new ambulances. QDoc Incorporated, a Manitoba-based virtual healthcare company, is getting $1.9 million to expand its platform and develop its digital technology. The government says this spending is expected to create 35 jobs. Valor FC Winnipeg's Canadian Premier Soccer franchise is no more. The team has officially suspended operations. The soccer team played its first game back in 2019. Now, 6 years later, it's done. Valor FC, which is owned by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, says it will meet all contractual obligations to players and staff until the end of the calendar year. All players under contract past this season will automatically become free agents or return to their parent clubs. The team says fans with credit on their ticket accounts will get full refunds. As the old saying goes, it's never too late, and a Winnipeg artist is living proof of that. He has extraordinary talent as a painter, but life happened and decades passed by without ever picking up a brush. Now, as CTV's John Hendricks shows you, the senior has his brushes back and is making up for lost time.
Chris Greaves has something cooking in his kitchen, but it has nothing to do with food. It's a painting he's working on.
I'm thinking about not letting the paints intermix too much.
When complete, this watercolor will be added to the growing collection of stunning artwork he's completed lately.
I've already run out of room. I got more pictures than I got space for them.
And what makes that all the more remarkable is the speed in which he's made these paintings. The vast majority painted in the last year, even though the 80-year-old says he showed promise as an artist back in elementary school.
I got the art prize. My name's on the board. still there, even though it's been, 70 years.
But when he grew up and had a family to raise, art took a back seat, sometimes going decades between paintings, although he had other creative outlets. Greaves has built about 60 ukuleles over the years, and he spent free time building model airplanes, furniture, and even boats. And perhaps his painting would have never flown back into the forefront of his life had it not been for Tai Chi.
My wife goes to Tai Chi every Tuesday, and she noticed that they have, on the same day, they have a watercolor class. And she mentioned it to me, and so I signed up.
They're called the Silver Brushes, and each week, Greaves works on new watercolors in class and back at home in his kitchen. And after years of keeping his paint dry, his artistic output is exploding.
I really get a kick out of it. I got them on the wall, and that's one of the reasons I don't want to sell them, is because I like to look at them.
John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Well, Greaves may not want to part with his original art pieces. You may get a chance to own the next best thing. He's thinking about creating a calendar with each month featuring a different iconic Winnipeg location.
When a grizzly bear emerged from the forest and attacked.
A vicious animal attacked school children. How many kids and adults were injured by the aggressive bear?
We all know just how cold Manitoba winters can be. Imagine not having a winter coat, boots, a toque, or mitts, and stepping out into the cold. That's the reality for many kids. But you can change that. Give the gift of warmth. Donate to Coats for Kids.
The city of Kenora is short more than 1,600 housing units, a deficit which is expected to grow according to a new report commissioned by the city. It says the shortage is largely fueled by immigration and inward migration as older Canadians move closer to the city's expanding healthcare facilities. The report outlines several actions to address the deficit, including a master infrastructure plan and seeking funding from all levels of government. Turning to the markets now, oil is down nearly $1 a barrel to close the week. The Canadian dollar also lost some ground. Gold, however, was up $19.50. The TSX closed up 254 points. The Dow Jones moved up 493 points, while the Nasdaq finished off the week 195 points higher. A grizzly bear attack has injured 3 children and 1 teacher on the central coast of BC. A group of 20 students and teachers was on an afternoon field trip. The 9 and 10-year-olds were eating lunch on a trail near the river when the bear emerged from the forest and attacked. Teachers followed protocol and used bear spray and used a bear banger to scare the bear away. Officials say teachers tried to protect the students and 1 male teacher was badly hurt. The injured were airlifted to hospitals in Vancouver. Conservation officers are searching for the bear. Serial killer Dylan Millard has been moved from a maximum security prison to a medium security facility in Ontario. The decision follows a similar move of co-conspirator Mark Smitch, who was transferred to a lower security facility in 2021. The news has left the victims' families, Tim Bosma and Laura Babcock's families, demanding answers given the severity of Millard and Smitch's crimes and the amount of time still left on their sentences. The federal government is poised to cut tens of thousands of civil service jobs, except one department which is looking to hire. That would be the Department of National Defense. It's looking to fill 3,000 positions by next March. Any federal public service worker in Canada or abroad can apply. So far, thousands of applications have poured in. Ottawa recently announced plans to slash 28,000 jobs in the public sector. Canada Post has just endured the largest quarterly loss in the company's history, more than $541 million. The company says ongoing strike activity has driven customers to competitors, and that has led to declining revenues of nearly 40%. Nearly all of the year-to-date losses were incurred in the second and third quarters, reflecting the significant impact the labor uncertainty has had on the business. A humpback whale is now swimming free after getting stuck in some fishing gear near the coast of British Columbia. Two Healthsuck members originally found the humpback entangled in prawn fishing gear 5 kilometers north of Bella Bella. After reaching out for help, a pair of local Healthsuck guardians arrived to aid the whale as it struggled to untangle itself. Hours of rope cutting around the whale's tail and body eventually resulted in the successful release of the wandering humpback, who appeared to show no signs of physical damage. Some bad news for the Winnipeg Jets. How long their star goaltender will be off the ice.
An unseasonably warm weekend is about to get underway. It will continue into Sunday. Look at this, 7 degrees are forecast high under a mix of sun and cloud. The normal high for the city for this time of year is around -4. So we get into the week ahead, things are going to change, and you know they would eventually. Cloudy Monday, 3 degrees. Snow is likely by Monday night, continuing on Tuesday, a high of -1. Cloudy Wednesday, Thursday, temperatures closer to normal with highs around -4, -5.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
The Winnipeg Jets are back in action tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes, but they won't have star goalie Connor Hellebuck between the pipes. It seems he'll be missing in action for some time to come. Hellebuck is undergoing a minor arthroscopic knee procedure. Following that surgery, he's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks for recovery. It's a big loss for the Jets. Last season, he was the league's best goaltender, helping the Jets to the best record in the regular season, and he won the Hart and Vezina trophies for his efforts. Winnipeg Jets head coach Scott O'Neill says Hellebuck has been dealing with a nagging knee injury for months.
This has kind of been nagging on him out here since training camp. It's something that we've kind of known about. He was trying to play through it. You know, it'll be good days, bad days. Just something that timing's right. Get it done now.
Eric Comrie is expected to take over as starting goaltender during the time Hellebuck is out. Tonight, he'll battle former Winnipeg Jet winger Nikolai Ehlers. This game marks the first return to our city as a member of the Carolina Hurricanes. Game time is 7 o'clock at Canada Life Centre.
The Hockey Report, brought to you by Santa Lucia Pizza. Check out the game day special. CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with your complete Skywatch forecast. And if you're like me and have not taken advantage of the nice weather we've been having and put up your Christmas lights yet, this is the weekend to do it.
This is your window, folks.
Before the snow flies.
6-7 degrees, my goodness, 10-11 degrees above normal for this time of year. And yeah, you saw that there, folks. So you caught that. Monday night, we'll likely start to see the first of some snow that will continue into Tuesday. If things continue to track as they are now looking more and more likely like they will. But until then, yeah, enjoy these unseasonably mild conditions while they last for the next couple of days anyway. We've had high pressure over the province today, and that's helped to bring back the sunshine across much of the south. A little bit of clouds starting to encroach now on the southwest, but still reasonably clear here in the southeast. That's going to change. These clouds are going to really take over southern Manitoba, but only for a few hours before the sunshine comes back. Further to the east in northwestern Ontario, clear now, but you will have a snowy start to your weekend. I'll show you that later on in the newscast and a little bit on the Futurecast. Right now, we have a warm front pushing in out of northern Saskatchewan tonight. It will make its way into northern Manitoba tonight. Along with it, not just temperatures rising throughout the night in a lot of the province, the snow as well. And again, not significant amounts really all throughout the week. We've had intermittent on again, off again snow across the north, but overnight you can see that band of snow leaves parts of northern Manitoba anyway. It will continue up in the northwest, but stretches down through the Interlake and into parts of southeastern Manitoba and over the border into northwestern Ontario, with some freezing rain right here, I might add. That pink there you see there on your screen. In behind, back in Manitoba, the sun shines for our Saturday, and increasingly so up into the northwest as well. Unseasonably mild temperatures all across the province for Saturday and really throughout the weekend. Saturday night, even clearer across most of the north, still across the south, paving the way for a sunny Sunday. And again, really just accept these conditions while they last. Well, we can do more than accept them. We can outright enjoy them, right? Because yeah, that snow is on the way. Not tonight though. Mostly cloudy. We drop down to -1. Light south winds. Wind shift tomorrow. They'll come out of the west. Mid-morning though, they'll really strengthen out of the northwest. But 0, mostly sunny around 8 a.m. but all throughout the mid-morning and throughout the rest of the day. Northwest winds on the way to that high of 6 degrees. So coming up, I will have your full provincial forecast while I'll show you the overnight lows ahead for tonight and our daytime highs expected for your Saturday. But first, of course, we have our Skywatch picks of the day. This one looks at the beautiful sky over NASA. That photo is from Shirley. And this next photo is a lovely one as well. This is out, of course, at the Leaf. That photo was taken by Martha at Assiniboine Park. Email us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Other than being born, there's no more intimate moment in a person's life than the moment in which it ends. And thanks to blood donors, Olivia Michalchuk's mother was able to be there for both. The 31-year-old and her longtime partner, Royal Canoe bassist Brendan Berg, were involved in a catastrophic head-on crash on Canada Day. And while the injuries they sustained ultimately claimed their lives, thanks to massive blood transfusions, Olivia made it to the hospital where her family was waiting before she took her last breath. And as we wrap up the 3rd week in our Hero in You campaign, we're sharing Olivia's story to highlight the impact blood donations have not only in life, but also at the moment life ends.
2, both hands.
Fierce, smart, and straightforward. That's how friends and family of Olivia Michalchuk describe the 31-year-old.
She was warm and inviting, but very feisty, and always could be brutally honest at times, but only because she had your best interest at heart. And she was always on your team, always.
Record our song.
Brendan Berg, on the other hand, was known for being calm, curious, and steady.
They were very different people and somehow built this like really beautiful relationship together, and that was a delight to see that happen. But I think they kind of filled in each other's gaps in just the right way.
While polar opposites in many ways, there was one thing they shared. A love of music. Brendan, the bassist of popular indie pop band Royal Canoe. Olivia, a Ukrainian folk singer with Step Collective.
Olivia was great at being a fan, per se, in the crowd, and she liked to watch the music. He was having the time of his life on stage, performing.
Music may have been the basis of their bond, but in the years that followed, the pair learned they also shared a desire to help others and were gripped by wanderlust. So when they headed out on the open road this summer, looking to do some camping and celebrate Canada Day, what followed was unthinkable.
3 people are now dead following a collision involving 2 vehicles near Swan River on Canada Day.
Brendan and Olivia's vehicle was hit head-on, leaving both with catastrophic injuries. Olivia, who had extensive internal bleeding, was given donor blood as she was rushed from the crash site in western Manitoba to Winnipeg's Health Sciences Centre, where her family was waiting.
We got to say our final goodbyes and just be in her presence and be able to just kind of get some closure with the situation we were in. It was definitely a hard situation to deal with. And I mean, without the donations, we wouldn't have had that moment with her.
Blood donors extended Olivia's life so her family could be with her in her final moments. A gift which has profoundly helped as they grieve the loss of her life and Brendan's. And a gift they're now committed to giving others.
That's okay for you? No. Awesome, thank you.
In the few months since their deaths, family, friends, and bandmates have helped bring in more than 430 donations.
Feels like it's some way to inject some sort of meaning into this really senseless and weird and awful situation.
It feels important and meaningful to be able to do something to provide someone who could find themselves in that situation, you know, the grace that it provided Olivia and her family.
Oh, Gaga, let's go down, won't you come on down?
Just as music brought Olivia and Brendan together, the legacy of their love and lives will continue to bring others together, whether it's in their time of need through blood donation or through the music they made.
Don't let me cry. Hold me up, look in my eyes. Don't let it die.
Each one of us has about 5 liters of blood in our bodies. When we donate blood, a little less than half a liter is taken. Olivia received enough blood transfusions to replace her blood volume twice over, which is why every donation is so important. This month, we are asking you to be a hero as part of our Hero in You campaign and book an appointment to donate blood. We started the month aiming to fill 1,236 donation appointments, and thanks to your help, we're almost there. Just 111 appointments remain. So if you haven't already, please be a hero this month and book one of those remaining appointments. You can do that online at blood.ca or on the Give Blood app. You can also call 1-888 to donate to make an appointment over the phone. And when you do donate blood, make sure to take a photo in front of the Hero in You sign at Canadian Blood Services and share it with us. The photos you're seeing on your screen right now are just some of the heroes who have helped us out in this campaign so far.
It was a blast for sure. Very intense, but a lot of fun.
Medicine in the final frontier. Why a Canadian doctor is learning how to knock people out when there's no gravity. For the first time in 30 years, the best boxers in Canada will descend on Winnipeg for the National Boxing Championships. The elite competition will see 175 boxers enter the ring, 20 of which are from right here in Manitoba. And joining me now to talk more about the competition and how you can take in the action is David Johnson with Boxing Manitoba. David, good to speak with you.
Hi there, Marilee. How are you?
I'm great. 30 years since Manitoba last hosted these nationals. That's a long time. How big of a deal is this for our province and for the local boxing community?
Yeah, it's really exciting. Yeah, we've had so much momentum in Manitoba recently with our local boxers, and we've really worked to develop. All the clubs have come together. And Boxing Manitoba decided to put a bid together for this event to bring the best to Manitoba. to fight versus Manitoba, but also show who's the best boxer in Canada to all the Manitobans.
And you know, the really exciting part about this is you have 20 boxers from Manitoba that are be looking to make a name for themselves next week. Tell us a bit about some of the top local contenders we should be keeping an eye on.
Exactly. I'm excited about everyone, right? Like we've got great growing talent at all our gyms in Winnipeg and across Manitoba. But to highlight really our current Canadian champions. So Priyanka Dillon is current Canadian champion at 48 kgs, and she wants to defend her belt.
We are watching some video of her, you know, hitting pads and stuff right now. Pretty impressive.
I know she's got it all: strength, power, and more than anything is technique. So she's really great, and so we're excited to see her compete. She'll be on Friday, boxing on Friday.
And you have some young up-and-comers as well locally here in Manitoba that just might make a name for themselves as well.
Exactly. So another Canadian champ, he's the youth Canadian champ, Victor Chung. He's moving up to the elite. So that's 18 plus. So he is daring to be great. He's just turned 18, and he's going to keep his belt in the youth and the elite. So we're really excited about him. He's also on Friday. So and then we're really hoping for finals on Saturday.
Now, in addition to all the local talent, as you mentioned, this event is really going to showcase the best boxers Canada has to offer. Many will likely see competing at the next Olympics. Any big names that you expect to really wow the crowds?
Yeah, so there's two great divisions. The first is someone that's actually coming from the pro ranks, Tamara Thibault, now is in England fighting pro, but now is allowed to come back into the amateur ranks to compete to get to the Olympics, to her third Olympics. So we're really excited to have her in the 75 kg female division.
Pretty exciting. How can we watch this? I've been lucky enough to take in a number of Boxing Manitoba events. They're exciting to watch, this especially. Yeah. How can we see it? How do we get tickets?
So it's going to be Wednesday to Saturday next week, the 26th to 29th at the Sport Manitoba building. And we have 2 sessions a day during the week, one during the afternoon, one during the evening. And then Saturday, finals day, we have it from 1 till 6, and that'll include a Hall of Fame presentation of a local boxer, Ryan Savage.
Tickets available now?
Tickets available now. It's through Tracky, but I would follow our social media, Boxing Manitoba's social media, which will have links to purchase by session or come for the whole weekend.
All right, thanks, David. Great speaking with you.
Thank you so much.
A Canadian anesthetologist is sharing the findings of some pioneering research into space medicine. It's part of a unique project funded by the Canadian Space Agency. And as CTV's Michelle Brunower reports, it's an experiment that felt like something out of this world.
It's not every day that your job as an anesthesiologist leaves you floating as though you are in space. But for Dr. Matthew Turnock and his Canadian team, that's exactly what it was like as they experienced microgravity for the first time.
It was a blast for sure. Very intense, but a lot of fun.
The team was on a mission to find out how anesthetic drugs would behave without gravity.
In space, giving an anesthetic is challenging because of the space and volume requirements. And also, a lot of the anesthetics we give are inhaled. So if there's an accidental circuit disconnection, the entire crew of the spacecraft could be anesthetized, which would be a really bad thing.
Dr. Turnock says they developed a model of a spinal canal and filled it with simulated spinal fluid.
There's a chance the medication could float up to the brain. Sometimes we see that here on Earth. We call it a high spinal.
Their temporary lab was in France, an Airbus A310 that would climb and then drop to create brief periods of weightlessness.
Every time the aircraft crests that peak, you get about 25 seconds of zero gravity. And it's not simulated, it's a real zero gravity, exactly how an astronaut would feel in space.
And during these moments of weightlessness, they conducted their research.
If we remove gravity, we hypothesized that the medication actually wouldn't spread at all, which is what we found. And so this risk of a high spinal of the medication floating to the brain is probably not actually a warranted risk.
What they discovered was actually the opposite problem, that the medication doesn't spread enough to work. All this leading to more questions and a quest to find answers through future space research. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Port Moody.
Breast Cancer Canada has released its 2025 annual progress report. It highlights advances in treatment, screening, and policy. The organization says 7 new breast cancer therapies were approved in the past year. However, getting from the approval phase to access still takes over a year on average. Breast Cancer Canada also says the current federal recommendation to begin screening at age 50 for average risk women should be lowered to 40 nationwide. Manitoba has a plan to lower the age of self-referrals to 40 by December 2026.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
The CTV Spotlight is next. Viva Manitoba, how a music festival will bring a lot of Latin vibes to our city.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Christmas with Johnny Reed.
The interaction between man and machine is the theme for an upcoming music festival. It's all part of the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra's new music festival, set to take the stage in the new year. In its 35th year, the festival will showcase works by influential composers along with up-and-coming composers. This year, the works explore creativity and humanity in the age of technology, with acclaimed Greek-American composer Christoph Theophanidis and joining the festival as a distinguished guest composer. To see the full lineup, head to the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra's website. The 9-day festival gets underway on January 21st. The Soul of Latin America is coming back to Winnipeg next month, and it's being marked with 3 bands, dancers, and, of course, authentic food. The Viva Manitoba Festival is coming to the West End Cultural Centre on December 6th. The event features the Kuru Bande Band, All-Star Salsa Band, an authentic mariachi band, and performances from the Latin Roots Winnipeg Dance Company. You can also indulge in a delicious array of food and drinks representing the Latin American cuisine. The family-friendly event is returning after a sold-out show earlier this year. Showtime is at 8 p.m. and tickets are available on the West End Cultural Centre's website. A new exhibit at the Winnipeg Art Gallery is placing our attention on local artwork. The display comes amid trade disputes and discussions on cultural sovereignty.
This show was really kind of taking that idea of wanting to be close to home right now. We want to support ourselves, strengthen our community, but without being closed off to the world.
Staycation, the art of being here, is on now. It features over 100 artworks by mostly Manitoban artists from the gallery's permanent collection. The pieces of art span 5 decades and highlight Manitoban themes such as places, representation, and spirituality. Guided tours of the exhibit are offered next month and during the first week of January. Your primetime lineup features Happy's Place at 7. At 7:30, it's Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. Hell's Kitchen comes your way at 8, followed by Boston Blue at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Primetime lineup is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
An early win, how some local teenagers are finding success in the music biz.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
And a quick swing around the province. Let's head up to the northeast quickly here. Churchill all the way down to -13. Cloudy around the region. Light snow tonight in Thompson. Temperatures rising overnight. You'll see more snow there as it spreads further off into the rest of the northeastern part of the province. Lynn Lake cloudy tonight. Temperatures rising there. Snow for areas to the south. Now that snow will end tomorrow morning for Flin Flon and Lynn Lake. Some of it may pick up in the Norway House area. Now overnight cloudy across the southwest down to 4 in Brandon. Temperatures rising overnight in Dauphin. often in Swan River, up to freezing. You'll see sunshine tomorrow. Look at those highs. Yeah, it's late November, 6-7 degrees. Winnipeg in the southeast, cloudy tonight. A little bit of light snow in Barons River. Sunshine tomorrow, and in northwestern Ontario, a little bit of snow tonight. That's right, and a little bit more on your way tomorrow.
Thanks, Colleen. A band is proving age isn't a barrier to getting on the big stage. This rock band is made up of 13-year-old musicians, and they're hitting the stage at the West End Cultural Centre Sunday. The group is called We're Only Here for the Snacks. It blends electro, indie pop, rock, and jazz with intricate melodies and pretty catchy riffs. The Winnipeg teenagers will be joined on stage by some of the city's best young bands, including Paradise on Fire and Cola Pop and the Soda Cans. Showtime is 5 o'clock. Tickets are available on the West End Cultural Centre's website. It's like a fun thing to do.
It does. They
Break a
sound
leg,
great.
kids.
That's
yeah. Right. That does it for us. Have a great weekend.